Happy Monday, everyone. Meteorologist Davis Wells here. We are looking ahead to the new week that is finally here. We are tracking still some very warm conditions for our Monday. Still looking at those highs warming into the middle 80s. Mostly sunny skies and still staying dry, but that will change once we head into tomorrow. In fact, after tomorrow, we're tracking the chance for some patchy frost that will be possible for both Thursday and Friday. Look at that. Low temperatures dropping into the low 40s. Even some rural areas could start to see their first frost of the season. So what are we tracking for this week? Well, the rain's going to return for our Tuesday, bringing some widespread rain chances. Later this week, we're also tracking, as we mentioned, that patchy frost that could be moving in. But then by the time we get into the middle of October, looking mild and quite quiet as well. Looking at radar and satellite, well, we've got high pressure off to our south and east down here off the coast of the Carolinas. But this is what we are watching right now. This is a cold front, and that's going to slowly start to push our general direction. And that's what's going to spark those widespread rain chances as we head into Tuesday, possibly even starting later on tonight. Let's time things out hour by hour for you. So later on tonight, here comes that cold front as we are around 4 o'clock in the morning, 4, 5, 6 o'clock. So early commute, at least. These rain showers are going to continue tracking off to the east. And even by about 9, 10, 11 o'clock, we could be seeing some heavier downpours start to move on through, maybe even a few rumbles of thunder. Now, the severe weather threat is not high at all. In fact, we're not really too worried about that right now. The greater threat for severe weather will be well off to our south, where they'll be dealing with more heavier rain and even some more convective energy associated with it. But you notice by about 2 or 7 o'clock on Tuesday, but late evening for tomorrow, we're starting to see that rain finally push out of the area. We could have the development of some additional storms later on in the evening as this continues to move off to the east. But again, greater threat is going to be further down to our south, closer towards Columbus and even over towards areas of Pennsylvania. Now, what are we looking at for rain totals? Now, this is through Wednesday evening, but keep in mind the rain will stop after tomorrow night. So Tuesday evening, overall, we're looking at rainfall totals of about 1/4 to 1/2 inch for most. Now, there could be some areas that have some heavier pockets, maybe up to 3/4 of an inch or even an inch in total. It really just depends on where those heavier downpours do manage to set up. And that's where we can see some of those heavier totals, even some localized flooding as well. And because of how dry things are out there across Northwest Ohio, we've got severe drought, again, for much of the viewing area, but we still have this extreme area of drought in southern Wood County, northern Hancock County, even extending over into Henry and over towards Defiance and Ottawa. Because of how dry things are, it's going to be difficult for the soil to actually absorb the rain as it's moving on through. Now, if we have that lighter rainfall for an extended period of time, that will be more likely to be absorbed. Whereas if it's more heavy downpours, it's really just going to run right off the soil. So we'll have to keep a close eye on this. We could be dealing with some localized ponding of water, especially on the roadways for us. Now, the 6 to 10 day temperature or precipitation outlook, looking at drier conditions, at least drier than normal, at least for us, even much drier further up towards areas of New York, up towards Buffalo and even Toronto. Temperatures, well, we're going to continue to stay quite toasty. It does look like at least above average from October 12th through the 16th. Look at just this above average corridor that is extending all the way from Wisconsin all the way back down through portions of Texas and really much of the eastern U.S. going to see that above average. Unless you're down towards the Carolinas or even down into Florida, it's going to be pretty warm. Now, the extreme west portions of the U.S. over towards Seattle, even parts of California, that's where they're going to see maybe some cooler than average temperatures. We will have to keep an eye on this because our average high for this time of year is about 70 degrees. So with us being above average, it's pretty safe to assume, at least what I would interpret, 5 to 10 degrees above our average, at least through this heavy corridor. So we could still be looking at maybe some temperatures into the upper 70s, maybe even pushing 80 degrees at times. But we have quite some time before we get there. Now, let's look at the next couple of days here, right? Very warm for today, cooling off a touch for tomorrow as we're starting to deal with those widespread showers. Then this is where we're really going to see much cooler weather Wednesday and Thursday, turning below average with highs only into the middle 60s. Even some areas of patchy frost can be expected. Again, I'll have about a 70% chance on Tuesday for those showers to move on through. I think most people will manage to actually see some rainfall from this, but then we start to turn much drier, and that pattern really continues even leading in through this coming weekend, even into the start of next week. You'll start to notice, though, we do have a slight chance for a rain shower maybe by the middle parts of next week, but still way too far out, and even those chances are rather slim. Our greatest chance for rainfall does look to move in, though, for tomorrow, bringing anywhere from a quarter to a half inch of rainfall for most. Everyone have a good rest of your Monday.